Donald Trump walked onto David Letterman's stage expecting to dominate the room, hijack the cameras, and humiliate the host on live television. But within minutes, Letterman weaponized silence, unveiled hidden evidence, trapped Trump with one impossible question, and triggered a meltdown no spin team could contain. The studio did not feel like a talk show that night. It felt like a courtroom. The lights were sharper than usual, clinical, exposing every twitch and bead of sweat. David Letterman sat behind his desk perfectly still, wearing that relaxed half-smile that said everything was under control. But his eyes moved across the room like a chess player reading the board. Then Donald Trump appeared. He did not walk in like a guest. He walked in like a man who owned every square foot beneath his shoes. When he reached the chair, he paused, adjusted his jacket, straightened his tie, and glanced at Letterman with a smile that never reached his eyes. When he finally sat, he spread out, elbows wide, shoulders back, claiming space like it belonged to him. "Big crowd tonight," Trump said, smirking at the audience. "Guess people still want real power on television." A few nervous laughs died quickly, swallowed by the weight of the room. Letterman kept his voice calm, almost casual, which made the tension worse. "Mr. President," he said evenly, "people have been talking about you and Ivanka lately. Soft, clean, but it landed like a spark on gasoline." Trump's face tightened instantly. "Talking how?" he snapped. "Gossip? Fake stories? You trying to build your show off my family? Your ratings dropped, Dave. You got bitter. Now you need my name to save you." The room froze. Letterman did not jump in. He let Trump keep going. Trump pushed harder. "People don't come here to hear you lecture. They come to see winners, and you're not one anymore." Uncomfortable movement rippled through the crowd. Letterman finally spoke, slow and controlled, his tone calm enough to feel dangerous. "Interesting," he said. "You walked in talking about power, ratings, winners. But the first thing you do is try to shut down a question. That's not strength. That's fear of losing control." Trump scoffed. "Fear? I run rooms. I run conversations. You're sitting in my world right now." "No," Letterman replied steadily. "You're sitting in front of cameras that don't belong to you. And tonight, you don't get to decide what people hear." The audience gasped as one. Trump shifted in his chair, jaw tightening, clearly thrown by a rhythm that refused to bend his way. He charged forward without waiting. "Let's stop pretending. Your show survives on clips and nostalgia. You bring me here because you need me. My name pulls viewers. My presence saves your numbers." He stacked insult on insult, barely breathing. "You don't ask questions anymore. You fish for drama. That's what desperate hosts do." Every time Letterman opened his mouth, Trump cut him off. "Keep moving. Keep dominating. Never let the other person land a clean sentence." "See, you're quiet now," Trump grinned. "That's what happens when truth hits." But Letterman did not fire back. He did not defend his legacy. He leaned back and let Trump's voice fill the room until it started to echo uncomfortably. The silences between Trump's sentences stretched longer than live television allows. Awkward, deliberate. You could see control slipping through Trump's fingers as the audience waited for Letterman to explode, and he simply refused. Finally, Letterman leaned forward, hands flat on the desk. "You keep talking about ratings, winners and losers, but you're dodging something," Trump smirked. "Dodging what?" "Reality. Numbers don't scare people. Stories do. Facts do. And control slips fast when truth shows up." The studio went dead quiet. "So if you're done flexing," Letterman said calmly, "let's talk about truth." The words landed heavy, slow, and unavoidable. The ratings attack had failed. The real fight was beginning. Letterman did not rush. He leaned back and let silence stretch past what live television tolerates. Trump blinked, adjusted his jacket, glanced at the audience. Letterman just watched him. When he finally spoke, his voice dropped lower. "Every time the conversation gets close to something real, you speed up. Talk louder. Jump topics. That's not confidence. That's avoidance." "I talk fast because I think fast," Trump fired back. "That's called intelligence." "No," Letterman replied. "It's called noise, and noise only works when the other person lets it." He leaned forward. "Here's how tonight works. You don't get to bulldoze the clock. One question, one answer, no speeches." "You don't set rules for me," Trump snapped. "I ran the White House. You're not in the Oval Office. You're in my space, and right now, I'm the one asking." The audience leaned forward, sensing something sharper coming. "Since you keep dodging," Letterman said, "let's go back to where this started, Ivanka." Trump's shoulders stiffened instantly. "We're not doing this. Family is off limits. You brought public image into this. Family becomes public when power is involved." "You're trying to bait me," Trump forced a laugh. "I'm trying to get a straight answer, and the fact that you're this uncomfortable tells me we're finally close." Then Letterman picked up a remote and pressed one button. The massive screen behind them flooded with cold blue light. An old clip filled the display. Trump's younger face, smiling, speaking about Ivanka in a way that had once been dismissed as harmless. But tonight, with everything hanging in the air, it did not sound harmless at all. Trump's own voice echoed through the speakers. No music covered it. No laughter softened it. Just his words, isolated and exposed. When the clip ended, Letterman let silence stretch. Then he froze the video mid-frame. Trump's face caught in a half-smile that now looked less like humor and more like something being concealed. He walked toward the screen. Look at this moment, not the words, the face. That's not someone joking. That's someone calculating. You're twisting it, Trump snapped. That was comedy. Letterman turned back. Comedy doesn't usually make people this defensive. He sat down and lowered his voice. For years, people laughed and moved on, told themselves it was harmless. He stared at Trump. But tonight, that clip doesn't land the same way anymore. Then he let the words fall into silence like a blade onto a table. What if it wasn't a joke? The room froze. The audience didn't clap, laugh, or breathe. The question hung in the air, turning a forgotten clip into a loaded accusation without ever using the word. Trump stared back, lips tight, realizing the conversation had crossed a line it couldn't return from. Letterman reached under the desk and pulled out a thin, dark folder. He placed it flat on the table. This is why that clip matters. He opened it. The screen switched to a white background. One phrase appeared in bold, "hospital record." A gasp cut through the audience. Letterman walked through it methodically. Header, dates, admission and discharge records, then names. The screen tightened. A name appeared, bold and unavoidable. Ivanka Trump. The studio gasped, then went silent. Trump shot forward. That's fake. That's fabricated. Letterman did not argue. He simply showed the alignment. Name, date range, medical department, location. Each one alone can be argued, he said. Together, they form a pattern. Then the screen shifted to grainy backstage footage. Trump's voice slipped through. Low, quick, raw. Two words that echoed louder than they were ever meant to be. Trump's head snapped toward the screen. That's out of context. Letterman let it replay, then froze the frame. A digital timeline appeared beside it. Month labels, travel dates, public appearances, then a wide empty block. Ivanka's 9-month disappearance from public life. No events, no interviews, no sightings, Letterman said. Just silence. She was working, Trump snapped. That's what models do. Working is public. This was vanishing. New markers appeared on the timeline. Hospital admission window, backstage audio date, return flight, all stacking on top of each other. One thing can be coincidence, Letterman said. Two can be bad timing, but this is a pattern. You're drawing lines that don't exist, Trump barked. Then answer it. Coincidence or pattern? Trump hesitated. The cameras caught it. His mouth opened, closed, opened again. His posture compressed from dominance into defense. Letterman let the timeline fade and raised a hand toward the side of the stage. A door opened. A former Trump Organization staffer stepped into the light, moving carefully, hands clasped tight. Tell them what you delivered, Letterman said. The staffer swallowed hard. Prenatal vitamins. The words hit the room like a dropped anchor. Silence, then shock. That's a lie, Trump barked. The witness continued. I was told where to go and what to bring. It came from his office, more than once. During the same months, she was overseas. Where did you deliver them? Letterman asked. Her apartment. The room shattered into whispers, then collapsed back into stillness. Trump's breathing grew visible. Letterman turned to him. Reputations don't crack from lies. They crack when people start telling the same story from different directions. Then a second person emerged, a woman moving carefully, fingers interlocked, fear visible before she spoke. I was Ivanka's assistant, she said. After Barron was born, I was called into a private meeting. No cameras, no phones. They told me to sign a non-disclosure agreement, not about business, about family matters. What did they say would happen if you spoke? Letterman asked. They said I would be sued into the ground, that my career would be over, that no one would ever hire me. Letterman let the words fill the room. That's not confidentiality, that's control. Trump leaned forward. You're twisting standard legal protection into conspiracy. Then explain why the silence was so specific, Letterman replied. Why the timing matches the records, the travel gap, the deliveries. Trump rubbed his forehead. You're stacking stories to make me look guilty. You stacked the silence. I'm just pulling it apart. Then Letterman pulled out one final folder. Thicker, dark blue, edges worn. The screen changed to a foreign letterhead, stamped with a Swiss medical crest. This is where the paper trail leaves the country, he said. Registration forms, alias used, private clinic intake. Dates highlighted in yellow. Same window as the travel gap. Same window as the domestic records. Prenatal category. Restricted access classification. The screen split. Swiss records on one side. Domestic dates on the other. The alignment was undeniable. Months matched. Gaps corresponded. Return flights overlapped. This is not one file, Letterman said. It's a chain. Domestic records, foreign clinic visits, travel silence, deliveries, NDAs. He tapped the stack. Each one alone can be argued. Together, they tell a story. Trump's breathing was fast now, jaw clenched tight. The audience sat frozen. Then Trump snapped. "You're a washed-up host chasing relevance," he shouted, voice sharp and shaky. "None of this is real. I'll sue you. I'll sue this network. I'll sue everyone." Letterman waited for the words to burn out. Threats don't erase documents. Lawsuits don't change timelines. Trump rose halfway from his chair, then dropped back. "You think this matters? It matters because you walked in trying to control the room, and now you're reacting to it." Letterman turned to the camera. "If this is all fabricated, if every witness is lying, every document forged, then show the truth." Silence. No applause, no laughter, just the sound of Trump breathing. "This is a setup," Trump muttered. Letterman nodded. "Yes, I plan to ask questions you couldn't talk your way around." The cameras swept the audience. Faces that had started the evening entertained now looked stunned. People were no longer choosing sides. They were watching power collapse in real time. Trump rubbed his face. His shoulders sagged. The dominance he had carried through the curtain had evaporated. The moment the broadcast ended, the internet erupted. Clips spread across every platform in minutes. News channels looped the footage, the frozen frame, the hospital header, the Swiss files, the question that stopped the room. Trump went online calling everything fake, promising lawsuits, but every denial drove more traffic back to the clips. The more he pushed back, the more people rewatched, pausing on timestamps, zooming into documents, arguing about gaps. What made it worse was the tone shift. First shock, then curiosity, then doubt. The conversation stopped being about whether Letterman was rude. It became about whether the evidence held together. The story outgrew the personalities and became about sequence, silence, and systems of control. By morning, one phrase had broken free and taken on a life of its own, appearing in headlines, captions, and arguments between strangers. What if it wasn't a joke? The firestorm was not fading. It was spreading, and the more people rewatched, the clearer one truth became. This was never about what was said. It was about how power shifted, visibly and irreversibly, in front of everyone's eyes. If this shocked you, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. These stories aren't just drama. They reveal how power operates when the cameras are running and the silence runs out. The next chapter is coming.